Um, Hello, all you lovely people, and thank you so much for joining us today for the 2021 Sustainable City Awards. I'm Sonia Graham, the Chief Exec of Global Action Plan, and this is the first year that we have had the honour of running these awards, which were formerly run by LSX, who joined the GAP team last year. We've been incredibly impressed and inspired hearing about all the work that you and all the nominated people and organisations have done across the city in such a difficult year. There's just so many challenges still surrounding everyday life, and these awards are just such a good opportunity to share, recognise and celebrate all of your efforts to help Londoners, small backgrounds, to live and work and spend their leisure times in ways that are good for health, wealth and the planet. By being here today, we hope that you feel part of this collective achievement brought about by a diverse range of people working towards this shared value of a more sustainable London. So thank you very, very much for coming and joining us. I would also like to recognise the support of all the partners in this award. So in particular, the Mayor of London's office and the London Environment Directors Network. And thank you for their continuing support for the Sustainable City Awards. So thank you very, very, very much. And also there have been many others who've kindly invested and donated to this cause, and in particular Investec, who have donated the funding for the winners in the education categories and the voluntary and community categories. These funds will be donated to the winning organisations or in the individual categories to a cause of the winner's choice. So thank you very much to Investec, who we'll be hearing from later on. And finally, an absolutely huge thanks to our 35 judges who donated a huge amount of time and expertise in reviewing all of the submissions and, of course, having the impossible job of selecting the winners. So thank you. Before we move into the opening remarks, we've got a little bit of housekeeping for you. I'm sure everyone is pretty familiar with Zoom these days, but do please keep your microphones off, but we would love you to keep your cameras on. It's far, far nicer if we can see your faces, especially in the breakout rooms. So please do keep your cameras on. When we go into the breakout rooms or a Q&A section, you will be asked to unmute yourselves. So we'll let you know during those points. And we'll be recording the main sessions of the event so that we can place the video on the GAP website from tomorrow. So anyone who wasn't able to attend can watch it. So just to let you know that everything's being recorded. And then please do share posts, celebrate as much as possible everyone who's here today through social media. There will be, I imagine, GAP @handles and hashtags and all of those things that those of you who are competent on social media, unlike myself, will know how to use, and they'll be on the slides behind us as we go through this event. Now, I would like to hand over to someone who's been an absolutely huge champion for these awards over the last few years, as well as being a Global Action Plan trustee and an unstoppable force on the London political scene. She's recently stepped down as a London Assembly member after 5 terms, giving her more time to champion social and racial justice so brilliantly. So please can I hand over to Jeanette Arnold OBE.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. My mother would be so pleased at hearing that. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us. And can I just say, just relax and enjoy this afternoon. This is a celebration of Londoners making the capital more sustainable. I want to add my thanks to the thanks that Sonia just given to all the nominees, to the judges, the supporters, the friends and supporters and sponsors of the awards, because we sort of like pull it all together, but you are the content. And so thank you all. Now, since 2001, the Sustainability Awards, the Sustainable Cities Awards, has been an inspirational marker on the London sustainability map. We believe that it's driven and inspired individuals and organisations and businesses to innovate and improve their impact on the city's community and environment. The awards were previously managed by the London Sustainability Exchange, as you've heard, and that was before it merged with GAP in 2019. Prior to her passing in 2019, Samantha Heath was the Chief Executive Officer for London Sustainability Exchange for 13 years. She not only oversaw the awards for much of this period, but was an inspirational force, leader, and collaborator across the London sustainability arena. And I really doubt if there is anyone who has ever met Samantha who was not inspired by her passion or her commitment. This year, the Voluntary and Community Individual Changemaker Award of the Year is awarded in Samantha's memory and the passion and commitment she gave throughout her career. Can I just take a moment to say that I'd love to recognise and welcome David Fell, Samantha's partner, who is with us here this afternoon. Welcome, David, and I'm so glad you've been able to join us. As you've heard, 2021 is the first year that the awards have been run by Global Action Plan, and I just want to thank Sonja, Charlotte, Gail, and all the team for the tremendous work that they've put in. We had a pause, of course, in 2020 due to COVID-19, and so in a way, 2021 gave us the opportunity to recognise that even though such an unexpected, even though, throughout such an unexpected and challenging year, individuals and organisations across London have been developing, really imaginative solutions and approaches to help Londoners from all backgrounds so that they can live, work and spend their leisure and learning time in ways that are good for their health and for the planet. I know I'm speaking on behalf of all the judges of the 2020-21 award when I say we have been so impressed by the wide range of projects nominated, showcasing the commitment of Londoners to improving life for others during such a difficult year. This year, we were so amazed or so awed, if you like, by one of the submissions that this year you'll hear later on that I will be awarding. I will be handing over an award to someone whose outstanding achievement we felt was just so worthy of its own special recognition, and so we'll hear who the winner of that award is later on. So thank you all for making our capital more sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeanette, for that welcome and for the tribute to Sam, and thank you for joining us, David. I'm now delighted to ask Shirley Rodriguez, London Deputy Mayor for Environment and Energy, to make the opening address. So can I hand over to you, Shirley?
Thank you, Sonia, and also to Jeanette. And Jeanette, we're absolutely missing your presence and your energy on the London Assembly already. You were missed at Mayor's Questions today, the first one under Sadiq's new administration following his re-election. And also thank you to Global Action Plan, who are great partners with the GLA in a number of areas, but for inviting me today to welcome you all to the annual Sustainable City Awards. I mean, it's a real pleasure to be here, just because I've been there in the past in person, so happy to be here virtually, but we'd love to be there in person again, because we really do hear about the best examples of people and organisations that are really making London a more sustainable place. And it's been a really tough year for all of us, but what's really heartening is to see how people have used this time to really be ingenious about the sort of great examples of sustainability and using their drive and passion to really make sure that London is a greener and fairer city. And we all know the pandemic has highlighted and exacerbated key issues around inequality, such as access to green spaces, jobs and health provision. So making and developing solutions that are more sustainable and meet the needs of London's diverse communities are even more important than ever. And we see also that the pandemic brought the best out in Londoners, the mutual aid groups that were developed, the bravery of our frontline workers, the increased appreciation of people's local communities and green spaces. And so we definitely want to build in that. And that's why Sadiq has been really clear that in looking to London's recovery from the pandemic, it must lead to a cleaner, fairer and more equal city with a renewed drive to tackle the climate and ecological emergencies, and also creating the really good quality jobs that we need for the future. Over the previous year, we've been working very closely with London councils and key London stakeholders to establish a London Recovery Board, and that's taking what they call a missions-based approach to help London really focus on the recovery from the pandemic, our economic and social recovery. But we know that we can do that by undertaking a green recovery. And we know that because we know that there are very many stats that I could quote, but it does drive action to make London both fairer, but also strengthen our economy. For example, London's low carbon and environmental goods and services sector is worth about £40 billion worth in sales and employs nearly 250,000 people. It generates more in sales than the construction and manufacturing sectors combined. So a green recovery will really address those economic challenges that have been highlighted by and brought about by COVID, like increased unemployment, by bringing new investment into London, helping businesses see long-term growth, but really importantly, providing the diverse, well-paid and high-skilled local jobs that we all want. One of the recovery missions is to deliver a Green New Deal for London, and that means that environmental issues and sustainability is really at the heart of all that we do on the Recovery Board. It's been identified as a cross-cutting principle that's going to be embedded across all the emissions. And the Green New Deal mission is particularly to double the size of London's green economy, but really accelerating job creation whilst tackling the climate and ecological emergencies, eradicating air pollution. So core to this mission is Siddique's pledge to make London a zero carbon city by 2030. And the really good news is that we're not starting from scratch. We've been trying to transform London using his leadership on environmental action. And there are lots of examples that I can quote, from the ultra low emission zone to some of our work on climate change and retrofitting. But I think I wanted to just stress a couple of things that are underway at the moment through our Green New Deal funding. That are opportunities, I think, for all of you on the call and across London to take part in. So, for example, we've just launched a new programme called the Future Neighbourhoods Programme. It's a £7.5 million worth of programme to bring boroughs and partners, the community, together to support the development of exemplar sustainable neighbourhoods, particularly in those areas that are most deprived, most climate vulnerable, or been hardest hit by the pandemic. I mentioned the ultra low emission zone. We'll be expanding that in October out to the north and south circular roads. We've already seen huge impacts in terms of the reduction in air pollution, but we know there's much more to do, and that's why the extended ultra low emission zone has been reconfirmed as a commitment by the Mayor. On retrofitting, we've been supporting programmes that have been helping retrofit over 32,000 homes with energy efficiency measures, retrofitting public sector buildings, really focusing on both tackling fuel poverty but also saving carbon. And we'll be just watch this space for some more announcements coming up over the next few months on that too. But really importantly, I just want to stress the Mayor's strategies and the work of the Recovery Board is really about ensuring that we focus on a just transition. We've been looking at some work to understand which parts of our economy, which geographies, which occupations, which communities are most vulnerable to the transition to a net zero economy, and how to make sure that we build the opportunities for them. So this research into the sort of green new industries for 2030 is going to be particularly important. And will feed into our work on developing the work of our Adult Education Board, for example, or a new Green Skills Academy. So just in conclusion, we can't do this alone. We don't have all the answers here at City Hall, or even, among some of the institutions that sit on the Recovery Board. Really, those solutions, come from people like you, the nominees of today's awards, who really are so innovative and ingenious that we want to know what are those projects that are going to help London become more sustainable. And then, our job is to see what we can do to help scale those solutions up in London and really use them to drive that green recovery and build a zero carbon and zero waste city, but importantly, one that is a fair city for all. So congratulations to all you nominees. I'm really looking forward to seeing who the winners are going to be. And in this year of the both COPs, COP15, the biological biodiversity COP rather, and the climate COP, COP26 later this year, I'm sure all of your projects and our collective work is really going to help make London a greener and more fairer city. So looking forward, as I said, to hearing the conclusions later today. And thank you very much for inviting me to just have this keynote address at the beginning here. Thank you, and back to Sonia now.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you for being here and also for those words. Right, so we now have 3 fantastic speakers, and because we are online rather than in a book room together, we are going to be having some breakout sessions. So we have an education room where we will have Rachel, Director of Thoughtbox Education, and she's going to be speaking about the intersectionality of sustainability and why we can't just teach climate change. In the community and voluntary room, we have Nick, Head of Climate Action at the National Lottery Community Fund, and he's going to give a view on some of the opportunities that have arisen from the pandemic for community-led climate action, with a particular emphasis on urban communities. And then in our third room, we have public sector and local authority discussions with Karen, Policy and Research Manager of UK 100, and she's going to be speaking about how matching the ambition of Build Back Better with the right policy programme could enable locally led delivery of net zero. So you will now be hopefully seeing a message flash up, transporting you to an exciting discussion based on what you said when you registered. Sadly, this means you can't listen to everyone, but we will be recording all the sessions individually so that you can have a look back later if you missed one that you wanted to see. Okay, so can I hand you over to the technical whizzes? We just in the middle of a very exciting question from Sam there. So sorry, Sam, that you got cut off.
Okay.
I hope everyone enjoyed those discussions. If I could just ask everyone to go back on mute if you are still full microphone right now, that would be great. Thank you very much to Rachel, Nick and Karen. I hope the discussions in your rooms are as lively as one in ours. We are now into the award part of the event. We had over 70 entries for the awards, and they all demonstrated the real commitment from those on this call and beyond to create a more sustainable city. And so, as you can imagine, it was pretty tricky to select the winners for each category. And so there will be actually some additional awards that the judges wanted to recognise as part of the process today. So some highly commended entries too. We are going to start with the education category, for which we have 2 awards, one for most sustainable school and one for the individual trailblazer. And for this, I'm going to hand over to Teresa, who's the head of sustainability at Investec, to present the awards. Before she does that, she's going to tell us a little bit more about Investec and also why sustainability should be a priority for any business.
Hi, thank you, Sonia. Hello, everyone. It's really great to be here today on behalf of Investec. We are proud to donate this year's awards to those unsung heroes driving forward sustainability in London. So yeah, my name is Teresa O'Brien and I head up the sustainability team in the UK. And in London, we're based in the City of London on Gresham Street. A bit of background, Investec is an international bank and wealth manager. Our purpose is to create enduring worth while living in society, not off it. Whether our clients are building their business, growing their family, or creating their legacy, we take the time to understand their potential and bring our years of experience to help them achieve it. Our client relationships are built on mutual trust, so we can help make the extraordinary possible. So our sustainability team's purpose is to help solve global economic, social and environmental issues. Likewise, we do this through deep relationships and a positive action of our people at a local level. Our programs are structured around the 3 pillars of education, entrepreneurship and the environment. In London, we work with our community partners based in Hackney, Newham and Tower Hamlets, near our offices. Our group CEO, Fani, was born into abject poverty in South Africa. Here he talks about making unselfish contribution to society and embracing diversity. A recent example would be in the first 6 years of the COVID pandemic, we were able to work with 3 of our clients in the food industry to supply 18 food banks with 1.4 million essential items that reached more than 230,000 people. We know that the role of the private sector and financial sector in particular can play in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals to build a more resilient and inclusive world for all. Indeed, Fani, our CEO, is one of 30 CEOs on the UN CEO Alliance for Global Investment, and Investec is a participant in the UN Global Compact. We've committed to 8 Sustainable Development Goals, including the SDG 11, which is Sustainable Cities and Communities, which is why we are particularly delighted to be invited to get involved in these inclusive awards today. And we do applaud Global Action Plan for their stunning work in creating collaborations that address the complex barriers to a sustainable London. So for the juicy parts, it is now my pleasure to present the first education award, the London Sustainable School of the Year. We had nominations from schools right across London. Every single one of these schools brings groups of students together to create a better environment for their fellow pupils, teachers, and staff. This, despite such a difficult year for pupils and teachers in their need to adapt to just keeping teaching going. The fact that all of the teachers the fact that all of these schools have been able to do this and to continue to work on their sustainable efforts is simply outstanding and deserves to be recognised. The judges were asked to read through the shortlist and to select the nominations they felt met this year's criteria best. But before I announce the winner, I would like to let you know about the 3 schools the judges have felt done such brilliant work that they should be highly commended. These are University College School Foundation in Hampstead, who have been carrying out sustainability projects both within the college and outside in the community. Chestnuts Primary School in Tottenham, who have been doing fantastic projects in air pollution and sustainable travel. And St. Paul's C of E Primary School in Whitechapel, where students have been engaging with compassionate action, creating future change makers. Very well done to all of these schools and to all of the schools who were nominated. So the judges were asked to pick just one school who they thought did the best job of meeting the award criteria. They felt that the school they chose is doing an outstanding job of enabling sustainability to be an ethos throughout the whole school. The school is providing a diverse range of environmental activities for students to be involved in, ensuring that every pupil can be involved in an activity that they care about in a way that suits them. The winning school also does an inspiring job of connecting environmental sustainability with emotional well-being. So I am very pleased to announce that the 2021 London Sustainable School of the Year is Hammersmith Academy. Many congratulations. We're now going to see a short video on Hammersmith Academy's work.
Hammersmith Academy is about 8 years into a horticultural project. So it started with a small idea and it's grown over the 8 years. One of the things we're really encouraging the school is to get all the students to grow something from seed, particularly vegetables. When we're harvesting anything that we can harvest, we make sure we put some into the food bank every single week.
Vegetables, they don't just come from nowhere. You have to plant those vegetables. They take resources, they take water, they take time. So teaching sustainability, it makes people more aware of their actions.
We've got chickens, we've got bees, we've recently got some guinea pigs, and we found that actually talking to the students about having animals at school, we are helping the sort of local ecosystem and getting the students involved in that process and caring for the animals and learning more about how they help our local ecosystem is an amazing opportunity for us.
To encourage biodiversity in the local area, we've got involved with Rain Umbrella.
So a few months ago, we went to our local park with a group of students and we put some acorns and some seeds. We then came back to the school and started planting them in pots. And over the last few months, we've been watering them and looking after them, making sure they have the nutrients they need.
Rather than just growing them for the sake of growing them, next year when they're saplings, that we'll be able to plant upward of 20 of those trees within our local area. We had a group of students work with the National Food Strategy to come up with their report about the importance of a balanced diet for students right across the country.
We talked about how we could make the London food more sustainable. One apple or tomato could actually have such a big carbon footprint that you couldn't even imagine.
Well, sustainability itself, you're meeting the needs of the present without hurting the needs of the future. So by being sustainable, we're actively thinking about ourselves, but also everyone around us in the future and making sure they have something that they can use while we're using ourselves.
Absolutely wonderful. I would like to now invite Vanessa Hodder and Sam Pillow from Hammersmith Academy to please unmute yourselves and to say a few words. Thank you.
Hi, Teresa. But yeah, thank you so much. Oh, hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
That's wonderful to see that video. I remember filming it. This is the first time seeing it. It's actually quite nice. Gosh, I mean, that's a humongous award. I want to say thank you so much for the nomination, and I think it just sort of watching that video reflects the hard work that's been put in by so many people, staff, students, in order to make that happen. I mean, there's so many things going on in the background. Vanessa, who's a real ally for us, she works part-time with us, but on the other days of the week, she's with Hammersmith Community Garden Alliance, and I've got to say, you know, the fact she puts in so much time for us is a godsend. I mean, today we had a swarm of bees, and they were like down in the car park, and she managed to get the local beekeeper to come and suppress the issue. It wasn't an issue; it was actually exciting to watch. But I mean, yeah, I'm sort of rambling here. Do you want me to say anything in particular other than thank you so much?
Can I also pass on our huge thanks to Paddy Kerwin, who started this project, because without him and his inspiring leadership at the beginning, none of this would have actually happened. And, you know, the projects that he started have just gone from leaps and bounds. And for, you know, got to say to all those kids who come out, rain, hail, shine, whether they like plants and animals, they come out every day and they work, they get dirty, they get in contact with the soil. So it's great that all those kids have actually got involved in doing this. So thank you very much. And thank you to Jess for all the support she's given the Eco Council. And we hope to be able to sort of contribute to the West London Eco Council, Eco Schools more next year.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, and well done again, Vanessa and Sam and all concerned.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I now have a further pleasure of presenting the second Education Award, this time for the London School Changemaker of the Year. Reading the nominations for this award, the level of passion and commitment shown by so many people across the education sector was incredibly inspiring. The nominations were so good that the judges had a very tough time deciding the winner. So before I announce this winner, I would like to let you know about the 3 individuals the judges wanted to be highly commended for their brilliant efforts. The first London School Changemaker to mention as highly commended is Patrick Kerwin from Hammersmith Academy. Patrick's hard work and vision impressed the judges and played a huge part in Hammersmith Academy's victory in becoming London's Sustainable School of the Year. It is a great reflection on your work, Patrick, I beg your pardon, that the school was nominated across 2 categories. Well done for bringing such a vision and inspiration to the school and for bringing about such positive change. Our second highly commended London School Changemaker is Martin Crabb from Glebe School, Bromley. Martin is a real driving force behind the school sustainability, behind the London Sustainability Schools Forum, as well as multiple networks outside of his school. Again, very well done, Martin. And our final highly commended London School Changemaker is Alex Rigglesworth from South Hampstead High School. Alex plays a key role in encouraging people to take action on everyday environmental challenges. Well done, very well done to you, Alex. And huge congratulations to everyone who was nominated. Your hard work and dedication has been recognised by those around you and beyond. And now to the winner. The judges felt that the passion shown by this person was outstanding, and the way they enable others to take action by building networks means their impact goes far beyond what they can achieve alone. This person has a clear vision and ignites other teachers and students to take action. So I'm very, very pleased to announce that the 2021 winner of the London School Changemaker of the Year is Jess Tipton. Congratulations, Jess. We're now going to see a short video of Jess's.
Hello, I'm Jess Tipton, and I started bringing students and staff from school eco committees together a few years ago. The idea originally was to use the galvanising effect of the environment to bring young people from different backgrounds together. We started with students from 2 contrasting secondary schools in Hammersmith who visited each other's schools and ran primary workshops together. A few more secondaries joined, and soon we had a rapidly expanding group of school staff and students sharing ideas and resources. There are now students and staff from over 24 London secondary schools in the London Schools Eco Network, who meet regularly on Zoom, chairing and minuting their own meetings. This student-led Eco Network model has been picked up by groups around the country, including Berkshire, the Midlands, Avon, Surrey, Somerset and even Ireland, with many more interested in setting up an international twinning planned. The students come together, supported by staff, for talks and debates. They write articles, they produce video assemblies and coordinate MP campaigns, and took part in the November Youth Climate Summit. Student and staff reps from each regional network now meet at a UK level and are involved in COP26 proposals and university research projects. They are often invited to speak at events to provide a youth voice on sustainability in education. I have personally got so much out of meeting and working with so many like-minded, thoughtful, motivated souls, both student and staff, from around the UK, and I can't wait to unite even more of us as we are stronger together.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely stunning. Thank you, Jess. So well done to everyone on your wonderful, inspiring work, and you are truly making a difference. And finally, it is now my pleasure to hand back over to Sonia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teresa. Congratulations to Hammersmith and to Jess there. Very well done to you, and also to those highly commended. Just a quick admin note, if you're trying to watch this on gallery view and you're wondering why the video is so small, please do click on the view icon at the top of your screen and change to speaker view. You will see a lot more. So please do that, and you can see the slides in full size. Right, so the next category is the community and voluntary sector category. And we have two presenters for this category. So firstly, I'd like to welcome Councillor Mete Koban, MBE, to present the award for the Trailblazing Organisation of the Year. Do we have Mete?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. Hi, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the awards and the event today. Just to introduce myself, my name is Mete Koban. I'm a councillor in the London Borough of Hackney, the greatest borough in London, of course. I'm also the recently appointed cabinet member for Energy, Waste, Transport and Public Realm, and it's part of my remit to lead the council's response to climate change and sustainability. So Sonja, just to correctly understand, I move on to the awards straight away now, right?
Yes, absolutely. Please do share.
Great. Well, it is my great pleasure to announce the highly commended and the winner of the Trailblazing London Voluntary or Community Sector Organisation of the Year. This was the award that we had the most nominations for, which is fantastic, showing how many incredible organisations are out there, like doing truly fantastic work, from projects on sustainable food through to innovative finance. The breadth and depth of the issues being tackled were very, very impressive. With a strong selection to choose from, the judges had a really tough time identifying the very best of the highly commended. And in the end, we wanted to mention 4 organisations. And the first, the Mind Food Project in Ealing, which uses nature and gardening as therapy, resulting in participants feeling calmer and less isolated. The other 3 were all considered by the judges in how they responded and accelerated innovatively to the circumstances at the pandemic, showing resilience and providing support to people. These are the SELCE, pronounced as the Southeast London Community Energy, Sustainable Merton, and the Restart Project. Congratulations to all of those who were highly commended. The winning organisation was, to the judges, an incredible and innovative response to the pandemic, blending art and sustainability. They were very impressed by the scope and delivery of activities from compositing to hip hop. The judges that this important and meaningful work can continue in the future. And I'd love to actually see some of their work as well. So congratulations to the May Project Gardens in Morden.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and before we do speak to Ian, who you've all just heard from the May Project Gardens, we do have a short video that we want to show you.
Welcome to the May Project. My name is Ian Solomon Kowal, aka KMT, the Freedom Teacher. The project is really about reconnecting people to nature, natural city living, and how we do that is by courses, workshops, and events. The events are called Come We Grow. The project is actually a home. It's my home, and it also serves as a project as well. So we're trying to we're being an exemplar of how do we connect more with nature? How do we be more sustainable? How do we be less consumeristic? Because we don't have a large resource or wealth resource, we focus a lot on working with people of like-minded. You actually ask them, what are you passionate about? We start from the point of view of trying to discover and learning more about what the passion is, and actually the project provides a space for these people to actually come and explore and develop their passion. Elizabeth was coming, we met from the spark, talking about various stuff that she was interested in, the whole conversation about the oven, and we just thought it's a perfect addition to what we do in the May Project. We've had workshops with her, she did workshops, she's had open days where actually people from the community can come and get involved in that process, and then it becomes a feature of the project as well. So it serves as a workshop but also as a legacy as part of the development of the project as well. It's really great and really inspiring for me because I'm just amazed by how many talented people are around and how passionate they are, and I just really encourage them on that journey, and been fortunate enough to meet Elizabeth and to see the wonderful cob oven, and we're now going to make some pizzas that taste dope, so yeah.
Congratulations again to Ian and the team. And I think if he's with us, we're going to ask him to say a few words.
Yeah, thank you. Forgive me. As you can see, the community doesn't stop. So I'm actually in the community doing some work as we speak. So thank you very much. You know, the awards just kind of act as a very good inspiration to the work we're doing, and just kind of really help us kind of, you know, motivate us to continue doing the work. The main thing that I would, you know, support in terms of structurally and funding, because ultimately we know how challenging it has been with COVID and lockdown for people. But I'm sure anyone who's involved in community work knows that the people in the communities are sometimes the most vulnerable people in society. And the only way we can continue to do this work with, you know, some real investment, some real expertise and real support as well. So thank you so much for acknowledging us and having this award. And let's hope we can continue to do this work. And hopefully the best result will be us not being doing this work, because ultimately people will be completely fully engaged in society.
Congratulations, Ian, again to you and the team. And hopefully, you know, I'd love to come and visit the work that you do as well. And before I do move on, I do want to give a massive shout out to someone who means a lot to me, who I can see on the screen, my Auntie Jay, Jeanette Arnold, someone who's had a massive positive impact on my life. I first met Auntie Jay when I was 16. I'm 28 now. And I was on a school trip to London Assembly when she was chairing it. And she came up to me and she was like, "Oh, you're a very young, passionate boy about politics." And she was like, "You must get into politics." And 12 years on, actually, I am where I am. And it's all thanks to the mentorship and guidance of you, Auntie Jay. So thank you so much for everything that you do. And thank you for bringing about, you know, the sustainability and Sustainable City Awards as well. I know you do a lot of great work around this. And I can also see the Mayor of Hackney as well. So I've got to shout him out as well at this event. So many people to say hello to. But enough of me now. I think I've been speaking a lot. So I'm going to hand back over to Sonja.
Thank you very much, Councillor Coben, and congratulations to the May Project Gardens. And I'm having pizza tonight, so I'm very excited, having seen all that fantastic pizza. Now we have a very important award for this event, and this is the new Samantha Heath Award for Individual Changemaker of the Year. And here to present this personally very important award is Jeanette. So go on screen, Jeanette.
Thank you, Sonja, and thank you, Mete. I'll pay you later. Absolutely. All the very best. Um, where do I start? And can I be brief? Well, I will be brief. And I just want to start by just sharing a few words about Samantha Heath. I got this sentence from one of the many tributes that were paid to her life and work. The sentence says, Samantha opened our eyes to the massive problems of air quality long before it hit the news. So she was at that starting point. She became LSX Chief Executive in 2005, and that was after she had stood down from the London Assembly. And whilst on the London Assembly, she used 2 terms to help shape the mayoral agenda of London. And she was one of the first who came up with the idea that we should be looking at climate action. We should be totally involved with reducing emissions. And she was the one who, in 2004, successfully influenced the then mayor to implement London's first low emission zone. Once Samantha had an idea, you actually went with it. There was just absolutely no stopping her. So other phrases that used about her are force of nature, and that she was absolutely one of the groundbreaking thinkers in the environment movement, certainly in London and the UK. In tribute to Samantha, members of the team at LSX, which I had the privilege of chairing, said of Samantha, her strength was always to challenge us to think harder about a problem and come up with a solution, to think more widely and to go beyond business as usual. That really, it seems to me, is to be at the heart of all of these projects. They've thought about it, they've thought big, they've thought about it, and they've gone large, they've gone beyond business as usual. Now, the panel selected 3 highly commended nominations and a winner because, as a set, they covered a huge range of topics, and important for us, they were spread across the whole of London. They really do represent the cream of the crop of inspirational individuals across London. The highly commended nominees are Layla Laksari, and Layla reached out to others and showed great examples of collaborative work. She really worked to ensure inclusion and brought people together in an inspirational way. There is such an incredible range about what she has achieved. So congratulations, Layla. The second highly commended was Livia La Camera, who, away from her work, Livia had to overcome some tremendous personal challenges, and she did. You know, that did not stop her. And she looked out when she saw that there was an issue to do with providing food. Not only did she provide the food, but she set about teaching cookery, and in doing that, creating that lasting skill that will enable many families and many individuals to provide foods for themselves. So that was the breadth of her work. The third highly commended was Parisa Wright, and she impressed the judges through the scale of her work and the sheer number of lives that she touched. I really want to speak to her personally to understand how does she fit sleep into her day, because you know this woman is absolutely non-stop, and we just were overawed by the work that she did, about the adaptability of the work, and that as a tireless volunteer. And by the way, she's got her job as well and her family. Thank you so much, Teresa, for all that you do. Now, having heard from all that, how did we come up with a winner? Well, the winner, when I read her application and as I was speaking, I said to the judges, do you know, Caroline just, the winner seems to be to just encompass Samantha Heath. She's sort of like, you know, some sort of tornado in the room in her community. And so the winner is Caroline Axtell. And Caroline, congratulations to you. Your work stood out in terms of the incredible degree to which you have involved underrepresented groups and the degree of inclusion and the way that you're just breaking down barriers. And, you know, people think it's okay, go and get a bicycle, go ride, but they really don't understand the sort of barriers, whether they're gender, racial, ethnic, or religious, that's bound up in all of that. And you're just working with others to break down these barriers. And for me, you're just setting out this template with what a sustainable and inclusive London could look like. And the scale of the impact was truly impressive and went beyond the community. And it seemed to us was absolutely bringing about change in the borough of Waltham Forest. So I'd like now for us to look at a short video of Caroline and her work. Thank you.
I'm Caroline Axtell, Car Free London campaigner for climate action charity Possible. I'm a community organiser and founder of Joyriders London.
And how have you inspired women in the community?
I've developed a grassroots network of women from diverse backgrounds through cycling, recruited many of them to become ride leaders and cycling instructors, and they become role models who then inspire other women to change their lives.
And what are your main achievements?
I've co-founded the Fatima Elizabeth Frontistery Cycling Club, and I've supported many other women, many other stay-at-home mums to transition back to work through volunteering and cycling. And during the pandemic, I coordinated a series of webinars where I interviewed inspiring women in cycling, and that led to some really exciting connections between different women from across the UK.
Caroline has supported me in becoming a ride leader and cycle instructor and helped develop a deeper connection with nature through green spaces on my bike.
What are you doing now, Selma?
I am leading a new women's cycle group in Hackney. Since I've become an instructor, I've trained about 20 to 25 women.
Caroline played a significant role in the founding and building of Fatima Elizabeth Cycle Club. This allowed our madrasa to be the very first to have its own dedicated cycle club in the country. We have over 150 participants. This not only allows us to keep fit, but also travel sustainably and protect the environment.
Hamid and Salma are both bridges to their local communities, inspiring many more people to effect local change. I want to build an inclusive car-free London campaign by recruiting more active travel campaigners who represent London's diverse communities. Thank you for the nomination, Global Action Plan.
Hello, Caroline.
Oh, I'm so humbled, really, and so surprised to have won, especially considering, you know, the amazing caliber of, well, probably all the nominees that didn't even make it to the shortlist, but all the other nominees on the shortlist as well. I mean, I should say that really all I've done in Waltham Forest is to just kind of light the touch paper and then watch things just expand from there, because we had all of these kind of planets in alignment with the Mini Holland infrastructure, this big network of like stay-at-home mums from diverse communities that I've built up over the years as a stay-at-home mum, and I suppose the community development skills that I developed from working in Greenwich at the time of the millennium, you know, many years ago, and the passion of so many different, you know, such a strong community in Waltham Forest, and things have expanded much wider. I mean, I've got to give a shout out to Cycle Sisters and Joyriders, the women's cycle group that I started, both doing amazing work and now expanding across a number of different boroughs and even outside London, as well as Fatima Elizabeth, Carry Me Bikes, Alison Manning, Women's Coaching, who she set up a coaching course for dedicated to Muslim women for a number of the women from our network. because as people have already alluded to, the people working in the grassroots are often the ones who have got the biggest challenges, especially under COVID. We have so many women among our participants and ride leaders who are facing, you know, lots of different personal challenges in their day-to-day lives. And, you know, cycling means so much more than just a means of transport or even confidence building. You know, the social aspect is so important. It empowers them in so many different ways, and it's a fantastic way of, you know, building a community and getting people to start thinking about sustainability, which is what I'm really trying to do now with the Car Free London campaign. And it's been wonderful this afternoon to see how many different change makers there are out there, you know, working in this area. We really want to, you know, kind of bring in those voices that don't always get heard when it comes to talking about active travel, sustainable travel, and thinking about how the way we travel actually has an impact on other people. It's not just about the social and personal outcomes, but looking at, you know, the broader environmental outcomes as well. So yeah, I'm just really really surprised and really delighted. It's fantastic. So I really have to say this is for all of the other women in organisations, you know, working in this space. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jeanette, for presenting that, and thank you, Carolyn, for being that touch paper. So important. So thank you. We are now swiftly going to move on to the next category, which is the public sector and local authority category. And I'm delighted that Dipti Patel, Vice Chair of London Environment Directors Network and Director of Place Delivery at Ealing Council, will be presenting this one.
Good afternoon, everybody, and I'm really pleased to be here. As everybody said, sustainability is at the core of what we as public sector do and want to drive that agenda. So I'm really pleased that, you know, in terms of the trailblazers that I'll be presenting for London are part of this award. So moving forward, as I said, I'm very pleased to be presenting the award for the public sector and local authority sectors. I'll start with the award for the Trailblazer Public Sector Organisation of the Year. We've had a number of nominations from healthcare, local councils and universities. This is really an outstanding, given the additional pressures that all of these institutions have faced over the past year in such difficult circumstances. Firstly, I'm going to move on to the highly commended. So Great Ormond Street Hospital were recommended as highly commended. The panel acknowledged the way that GOSH is leading the way as the first London NHS trust to declare a climate emergency, and its support of others, including the Royal Free and University College London Hospital, to do the same. So well done, Great Ormond Street, for leading that way for the NHS. And the second highly commended is Cross River Partnerships. The particular strengths as part of this were in engaging and inspiring and bringing businesses to work collaboratively with civic groups such as food banks and local authorities at scale. So again, I wanted to say well done and highly to the Cross River Partnership for as part of the highly commended selection. So moving on to the winners, to the winner. So the winner here is Islington Council, and really want to say they turned the crisis into an opportunity, taking big risks and getting moving on progress. The panel felt that the council's introduction of a very, a controversial area of low traffic neighbourhoods and school streets have delivered a strong and direct positive impact on CO2 reduction, air pollution reduction, and wider health and well-being benefits for residents. They did a brave and difficult thing in a robust way, for example, by making good decisions about boundary roads for low traffic neighbourhoods, and sought a huge change in a very short space of time. It should be noted just that I wanted to highlight that one of the judges for this award is an elected councillor in the borough of of Islington, and as such abstained from the scoring for the nominations. So well done, Islington, really pleased. And I'm going to, before I hand over to Martin Hugeman, the Director of Climate Change and Transport for Islington Council, there is a short video. Thank you. So well done, Islington. Martin, are you able to say a few words?
Yes. Hi. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you very much. We're very excited here in Islington, and I'm here with a few colleagues. So it's fantastic news, especially winning something called trailblazing. I had to look it up first to really understand what we've done. So just a few words, from us. So it's been a very difficult year, of course, for many people. And initially, all the staff in my team were being redeployed to help other services to help with the emergency. And then we saw in the news in Milan that actually where the pandemic struck sooner, that they were really kind of addressing it by looking at transport. And it kind of was a wake-up call for us all to think like, well, yes, transport is a real key element of addressing the addressing the pandemic. So we had already very strong policies, transport policies and the net zero carbon strategy, where we wanted to really kind of move forward with low traffic neighborhoods, school streets and all these kind of things. But the kind of emergency, the public health emergency was a reason to do that quicker. So it's very exciting that we created lots of low traffic neighborhoods, address the climate emergency, address the public health emergency, build a stronger communities, improving people's lives in a much quicker way than we would otherwise have done. So as you saw on the slides, we've got 23 new school streets. Apparently we have the highest percentage of school streets in London now. We have 7 new low traffic neighborhoods, which creates 23% of the borough new area where people live in low traffic neighborhoods, 5 new cycleways. I mean, the team worked incredibly hard, and I just want to say a few thank yous. So first of all, the colleague who's with me, Aya Collins, who is also on the call. She did an amazing job working with all the teams, pulling everyone together. The engineers, project managers, transport planners worked really hard. Other teams really jumped in. The council's organization was super flexible. We could take decisions quicker than we'd ever done them before. And Councillor Champion is also on this call, I think. She's our exec member for environment and transport. And without her unwavering political leadership and the leaders' political leadership, who's now moved from Islington to the GLA, this wouldn't have happened. So I want to say a big thank you on behalf of the whole of Islington Council and its political leadership. We're very happy to be recognized for this award. Thank you.
Well done. Okay, so thank you very much. And I'm now going to move on a pleasure awarding the second Public Sector Award for the Individual Changemaker of the Year. So everyone who was nominated in this category was highly deserving of their nomination and should be celebrating for their ongoing efforts on changing creating a more sustainable London. Although we're unable to list them all, the judges did want to mention some of the nominations as highly commended and who really stood out for such an inspiring set of nominations. So I firstly wanted to highlight and put forward David Lawson as highly commended from Guy's and St Thomas's Hospital Trust. David is a committed individual whose achievements have had a real impact across the diverse NHS workers and communities. Secondly, the judges also wanted to recognise the efforts of the following 3 councillors who have each demonstrated vision, impact and bravery as individual trailblazers. So Councillor Adam Harrison from Camden, Councillor Claire Holland from Lambeth and Councillor Philip Glanville, Mayor of Hackney. So well done. I really wanted to congratulate you in terms of the highly commended. So moving forward to the winner. So I wanted to present the winning award to Anant Patel of the Royal Free London NHS Foundation. The judges felt that as an individual, Anant went above and beyond, especially in a very difficult year for the NHS, as we all know. The potential impacts in reaching a vulnerable and diverse population is huge and truly trailblazing. So before we speak to Anant, we will go show the short video.
Hello, my name's Anant Patel. I'm a consultant respiratory physician at the Royal Free Hospital in London with a particular interest in lung cancer. And unfortunately, over the last few years, we've seen a really big increase in the number of patients who we diagnose with lung cancer that have never smoked. These are often younger patients and these are often women, devastated to learn of a diagnosis like this and really desperate to understand why they've been affected in such a way. And unfortunately, air pollution is a big part of that answer. And so to that end, I've tried to involve myself from a grassroots level in educating my fellow healthcare professionals, as well as speaking to patients individually and testing out materials made by Global Action Plan to help patients understand the role air pollution plays in them, what they can do to avoid it. I've done lots of teaching to try and help our fellow healthcare professionals try and understand what they can do on an individual level, as well as how that affects patients that they deal with on an everyday basis. And only by helping to breathe everybody to breathe cleaner air can we really make a big inroad into lots of the public health impacts it has in our society. Thank you to Global Action Plan for nominating me and for putting me forward for this Changemaker Award, and congratulations to the other nominees and all the best of luck.
Thank you, Anant. I'm not sure if Anant's on the call. Do you want to say a few words? Hi.
Hi, thank you. I'm here. I'm blown away. I really did not expect this. You know, I'm just a jobbing clinician getting on with my work and trying to do the right thing. And it's been a really difficult year, obviously. And I just really, really grateful for you guys to put this on and recognize people that work hard and try to do the right thing. So that's really nice of you. Thank you. And I saw in the list of participants, Rosamond, who's Ella Kissy Deborah's mum, and her ongoing work as well. So I just want to give an enormous shout out, an inspirational character to help people like me kind of, do my best to make whatever difference I do. Thanks to Kat Lagat and Catherine Kenyon for nominating me for this as well from Global Action Plan. I really, really love that, and thank you.
Thank you. Well done and congratulations. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Sonia.
Thank you, Dipti, and thank you, Anant, and congratulations also to Islington Council. We had an unusual situation arise this year. We had such incredible nominations, but there was one that the judges felt was so outstanding in its achievement that it merited its own new category. So there is a new award this year, a special award for outstanding achievement. And in a minute, I'm going to ask Jeanette to come back on to present this award. But just to let you know now that I'm being told we're running between 8 and 13 minutes behind. So very specifically a little bit behind. So apologies for that, but we're looking forward to some discussions after this award. So handing over to Jeanette. I think you're on mute, Jeanette.
Yeah, thank you. I've unmuted myself. Thank you so much. What a wonderful afternoon. Now, I'm going to just read through the words that I've got here about this individual. And it's my great honour to be handing over this special award for outstanding achievement. On reviewing the nominations for this Mantha Heath Individual Changemaker Award, we found that one person nominated was operating in a different sphere to others. And this individual has taken action in response to a devastating tragedy in her own family, and has had a transformational impact and has highlighted one of the UK's most serious examples of environmental injustice. So she's not only doing it for her own family, but she's doing it for every family where there is a child that is suffering from asthma. This person is Rosamond Adu Kisi Deborah. And Rosamond, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We salute you, and we hope that you will accept this award that's been given to you. And it's because, you know, there's so much to be said about you. You brought about a situation out of such great personal tragedy, where out of the death of your beloved daughter, you worked so hard, you were there, you fought a legal battle, and you came out victorious, and you were then able to get the right and correct diagnosis put on that certificate for your child, not only for your child, but for other children who may well find themselves in this situation. So you created this first person in the UK to have air pollution listed on a death certificate. This is a step change in the battle against toxic pollution, with implications for healthcare policies in this country and, I believe, across the world. And we're not the only one that thinks that, because I'd also like to congratulate you, because I understand you are now a World Health Organization advocate for air quality and figurehead of the clean air movement. You continue your fight. You continue your fight in your daughter's name, but you continue the fight for communities and individuals who are living in localities where we need tighter controls on nitrogen dioxide emissions. You have now set about, you've got a base for a policy, and we wish you all the very best in the next stage of your work in bringing about an LA's law. So let's put our hands together for the winner, Rosamond Kisi Deborah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And over to you, Rosamond.
Hello. Thank you, Ms. Arnold. I graciously accept this award. I would actually like to dedicate this award not just to Ella, but to my surviving children. Because as Dr. Patel said, you know, this is a very hard struggle. And yeah, Ella actually is the first person in the world. I mean, it sounds strange to actually say that, to have air pollution on her death certificate. And I would like to, dedicate this award to all my 3 children, because in some ways, as people heard at the inquest, there is a genetic link, obviously, with my children. And they are, Dr. Patel probably won't like what I'm going to say, they are more susceptible to exposure to air pollution than the average person in the population. We yet don't know why this is. And this will be why it's been an extremely hard year. Because not only were we fighting the fight to get air pollution diagnosed, not diagnosed, see, I'm so used to saying the word diagnosis, to get air pollution put on Ella's death certificate, but in the background, I was having to take her siblings back into hospital as well. So that is not easy. And it's something I don't sort of alarm the public about, because I don't want lots of queries about that. Ella was a very bright, very articulate, very happy when she wasn't obviously with tubes down her. She was very bright child. And I did say this week to her classmates who still struggle 8 years on, that they need to try and remember all the happy times and not think of her as being incredibly ill. And I want to take this opportunity to also think about all the parents whose children have asthma, who support them every day. ICU is not an easy place, and it's not somewhere you want to visit lightly. And I do want to take this opportunity because in my journey, it was all about getting justice for Ella to start off with, I must admit. But it has actually turned into an issue of equality and justice, may I say. And I will repeat again that clean air shouldn't depend on where you live, shouldn't be based on your social, economic, on your racial, on class. Everybody deserves clean air. Some shouldn't get it more than others. And there may be people who may disagree with some of the actions or what I say, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart, that poorer communities have never really had a voice. And it's about time now we heard from them. And I'm very happy there's a doctor actually on the line watching this, and he will be able to tell people that the children who tend to suffer most are those that tend to live near busy main roads. And I shall repeat Jonathan Griggs' quote that says, if you live near a busy road, it is as if you're passive smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And we need to remember this. I'm highly supportive of our movement, but I do think we need to stop sometimes and think. There's been new research out, and I will always speak for children, especially asthmatics, that has shown me that the number of asthmatics continues to rise. They are on more medication, and people need to recognize in London every year, we have up to 12 children who still die from asthma. This number, unfortunately, has remained stable, but there are excellent doctors and the medication is better. And, you know, the doctors are doing everything they can to reduce that number. But it doesn't help if there are policies that make children who are already ill even worse off. That would never be accepted for my family. And we will always speak out about such injustices. So when I say things that some may feel aggrieved about, I don't just say them. We still live in the same house and we still see the same things going on. It is not we don't support things, but it's incredibly painful to support things that you can see are making some children's lives worse. All children matter. It shouldn't be some above others. So I accept this award and I dedicate it to all my children, and especially my twins who are surviving, for their braveness. And to leave you with one of the last words they heard will be similar to what other people have heard over the last year, which is sparked outrage. And it's the word, I can't breathe, which was one of the last words Ella did say. So people should try and remember sometimes, not only am I an advocate, but I am also a mother. And I continue to grieve deeply, because to have your daughter die in your arms is not an easy thing. And I still continuously worry about my own children. And I explained at the beginning why. So people shouldn't think it's not because we're not supportive of things, but when you live near a busy road where we are, and traffic unfortunately has doubled since my daughter's death. So some of the things sometimes might be due to the anxiety of a mother who is worried. But I will continue to work hard. I will continue to campaign. I will continue to try and change the law so that the air quality is better for all children. Thank you very much for having me. And I'm jumping onto a meeting with the Mayor of London. So it's not that I am deserting you. So that's where I'm going.
No.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a humble thing to get an award, because I don't do this for awards. This is my life, really. I don't do these for awards, but thank you, all of you, for all the support that you give me and my family. And we are incredibly grateful for this award. It's something we will all share in our family. And obviously, we still miss my daughter dearly, but thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Rosamond, thank you for accepting our award. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we are absolutely all behind you in the fight for environment justice for
Absolutely.
all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for having me. Bye.
Thank you, Rosamond, for all the tireless work that you do for the Clean Air cause. Thank you very much. And thank you, Jeanette, for handing over that important award for us. So that marks the end of our actual award ceremony, and we will be sending a little trophy to all of the organisations who won an award today, and planting a large number of trees for all of the individuals who've won awards as well. Now, because we are not hampered by stages and complicated microphones and chairs to rearrange, we are going to take this opportunity to interrogate our wonderful winners a little bit more. So we're going to go very quickly into short breakouts to just be able to hear a little bit about what they did and ask them questions of how they did it, so that we can all learn in our joint cause and passion. So handing over to the tech whizzes. Hello and welcome back, everyone. That was hilarious seeing Jess have to answer a question in about 35 seconds. I could see her speeding up as every second went down. So thank you very much. And that was very short and sweet, but we want to make sure that people can head off. So thank you to everyone again. Thank you to the judges, thank you to the speakers, thank you to the presenters who've given their time generously. Thanks to the GAP team who have womaned the tech and organised us all so beautifully and patiently. And really, these awards are just a microcosm of the amazing climate action happening across the UK, showing us how building back greener is building back better for all. So thank you very, very much. And I'm very, very proud that we can take the time to recognise everyone here today, not just the ones with the certificates and the plant plastic take homes that are coming your way, but every one of you fantastic people who are on here and who are nominated. So thank you. And please help us to continue to build the sustainability movement, share posts about the awards and all these wonderful people who have been doing great things using the @ and the hashtags that you've been shared. And of course, do keep an eye out for the awards next year and hopefully see you here again. So thank you, everyone, for such a fantastic event, and keep doing the amazing things you do.